Welcome back. I want to start a new series that grew out of the previous series on the track control menu, and this is based on the track context menu. Let's go over to Audacity here. In the track control panel, there's this 3-button control. If you click on that, you get a drop-down menu, and I'm referring to this as the track menu. So I want to do a little mini series on the things that are contained in this menu as well, because they sometimes don't get explored and there's some useful stuff in here. So let's start with rename track. That's the first option here, and it seems pretty self-explanatory and pretty simple, but there's some interesting and useful stuff along the way. So if you rename the track, then it brings up this little dialog that lets you change the default, which is audio 1, to whatever you want it to be. So I'm just going to call it VO for the sake of argument. And what this does is change the name of the track, obviously, from audio 1 to VO. But the other thing that it does is if you now record on this track, I want to go to the end of the track and record some new audio. If I record on this track and I do a little clip there, it names it with the new track name, dot, and a number. And the number is going to start at 1 if you don't have anything on that track with that root name. So we already had audio 1.1 because audio 1 was the old root name. Now we have VO as the new root name for the track. So the clips are going to be named VO.1, VO.2, etc. So if I go to the end of this track and I record some more and I get a new clip and it's called VO.2. And likewise, if we add a new track, and if I record on this new track, then it's now named audio 1 because that's the default that Audacity uses. And if I add another new track, then that gets named audio 2. Okay, so Audacity is using its default name of audio 1, and if I add another track, it's going to use the root audio 2 and so on. But we can also change that default. So if I go into Preferences and we go to the Tracks option in the left pane, then there's an option for default audio track name. And let's say I'm working exclusively on voiceover stuff, so I'm going to change that to voiceover, and I'll click on OK to change it. Now if I go into the Tracks menu and do Add New, and I add a new track, it's called Voiceover 1 instead of Audio 1. And perhaps you've already guessed, if I record a new clip on here, VoiceOver 1, it becomes VoiceOver 1.1 as the name of the new clip. Now, the other thing to notice is that if you rename the track, and I'm going to say this is Adam's voice, then any clips that I create from now on will use that as the new root. So if I record another clip here, then that's Adam's voice 1, whereas the previous clip is still named voiceover 1.1. So new clips get named using the new renamed track, and the clips that were already recorded on that track keep the name that was already there, right? Now, the other thing is that because I've changed that root name, if I add another new track, now I changed this one from voiceover 1 to Adam voice. So now, since the default I set in Preferences is still voiceover, and I add a new track, it's going to call that one voiceover 1. This can get a little bit confusing. So now if I record something new on this newly created track, then its clip name is going to be voiceover 1.1, just the same as this voiceover 1.1 that I had up here, because I previously had that track named voiceover 1. Okay, so clip names get assigned at the time they get generated, and they don't change if you change the track name. Interesting behavior and good to know. Hope this helps. I'm Stuart.